Sunshine. I'm Stephanie Himes.
Jesse said.
Yahaira Cortez.
I'm Margaret Bishop.
Estefania Bautista.
Roxana Gutierrez.
All right, should we just start at the beginning?
Sure. Epicureanism. What is it? What do we do? What's the purpose?
The pursuit of pleasure. And like pleasure versus pain, and trying to, our main goal in life is to extinguish all pain in the pursuit of pleasure.
To acknowledge what makes us happy.
So what is the end goal of all of our actions? Is it to be like free from pain or what?
I think it is to be free from pain, because that in itself is pleasure.
Well, what were the three things that she said that we needed, that Epicurus said that we needed in order to be happy? I remember that friends was one of them.
Freedom, and then analyze life.
What does he mean by analyzing life?
I think it just means like having time to reflect on your decisions and what makes you happy, because if you can't reflect on your life, then you can't improve it.
Yeah, you want to examine your actions so you won't make the same mistakes and stuff.
Was he the one who isolated himself eventually? He did, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, didn't he live with his friends?
He lived with his friends, but they decided to like move away from the city, and I think he did that so that they can have time to, so they can have time and space to think quietly about like literally whatever.
To contemplate.
Yes.
So pleasure is the highest good, right?
Mhm.
Is all pleasure worthy of choice?
It is not, because there's some desires that are natural and some that are unnatural, and the ones that are natural, some of them are necessity and some are not a necessity, and you should not choose the ones. Some of them you should choose out of. You choose some of them out of necessity, but that's all I got.
I remember that in lecture that he talks, that she brought up the story of the ring again, and I remember Epicurus, no, not Epicurus, sorry, Socrates is arguing that suggests that one should pursue justice because to be just is to be happy, to be virtuous, and then Epicurus argues that one should pursue justice because to be just is to be happy. Why do you think to be justice is to be happy? If that,
I feel like to be just leaves you with a clear conscience, and I feel like when he reflects about his life, he's trying to like, I guess just have peace with his conscience. I mean, your conscience is with you all the time, so if you did something wrong, it's gonna keep bugging you along the way. So I feel like what he means when like you need to be happy with yourself, and you need to be happy like every small deed that you did should bring pleasure.
so to conclude on that, then the shepherd who stole the ring is not happy because he is not just, right?
I believe so.
Right?
Just
But I
because of
mean,
the laws of nature, or just because of what law?
just as in, like he didn't, like as she was saying, like he did something wrong, and well, actually no, well then apparently he didn't even have a conscience because he was all happy about it, and he was still happy regardless. So there's that like debate, but never mind. You brought it from a good point. I'm not sure.
Maybe like the prosperity of the fool though, because you're still like misguided. So you think you're going to be happy, but in the long term, it's not like affecting. It will like backfire. Should we break the mindset that humans are immortal, or should we just like continue our busy lives?
Immortal?
Immortal or moral?
Like immortal, like should we live like we're immortal? Like,
Oh.
I feel like that's like part of living an analyzed life is like considering your death and like thinking
think about it, because then you can reflect on the decisions you make throughout your life and how, like, you have to choose a certain path in life because you don't have an unlimited amount of time. And depending on what you choose in life makes up that life. And because you can't make all the choices because you don't have that much time to do everything.
Do you think that he's right in his claim for us to not consider, or to not fear death, just because it is not a state of being anyways? Or do you think that it's right for people to fear death and contemplate it and worry about it, even though it is inevitable?
I actually took that one to heart. I was really thinking about it because, like I was always scared of death. Like I always felt like, who isn't scared of death? Like, who wouldn't be? But then thinking about it, like the way he said it, just made me realize that, like, that's true. Like if I die, I'm not really gonna feel anything. I'm gonna feel like, well, I'm not even like I don't even know. Like I'm pretty much nothing in a way because in that state, I won't even. My brain, like I wouldn't even think. I feel like all my thinking would be like, I don't even know how to describe it, but like.
You wouldn't be conscious, so you wouldn't be able to think.
Exactly. So then why would I why would I have a reason to fear death if in the end of it I'm not really gonna have like I won't really have a say or I won't be conscious enough to even like analyze that. So it shouldn't really matter.
I feel the same way. I think it was some other readings I was reading, and I think it was the Stoics, but they said don't engross yourself in the future. So like what's gonna happen, like you said, is inevitable. When you engross yourself, you're like taking away the present, which is given to you by nature, the laws of nature, and you're worrying about the future and what's gonna happen. But really, you're alive right now. I think it's from the reading, and I can agree with it. And then focus on what nature give you, the presence.
I also think it's interesting because it's like when we die, since our state of unconscious, like we're not in a state, we're just not conscious because our brain isn't there anymore. It's going to deteriorate. But that's the same as being born as well. Like when you're born, you're not conscious either. So I think this is an interesting parallel because it's like you weren't. You could kind of compare it like you weren't conscious when you were born coming into this life, so you would fear coming into a life. So why should you fear leaving it as well? Because you didn't know, you just were, or are not, or are not.
Yeah, we shouldn't fear death. I mean, we're like decaying right now. Like we're just not aware. Our bodies are literally decomposing. You know, like our livers, like it's like gonna stop working in a couple of years. Like especially when we're drinking, that's like students.
That's a lot.
I feel like we fear death because we are so negative, like so many negative like connotations about it. And then I guess like when people die, we just feel sad because we have memories with them. And you feel like when you die, you're gonna like leave a void like in your friends and your family. And I feel like that's like the start of fear. And then also like the pain. But like you said, like once we're dead, it's like we're nothing. So we shouldn't fear that part, but we just like trying to like not to think about the pain that comes with it.
So how can we like psychologically prepare ourselves for our friend's death? Like does that like how we were talking? Yeah, exactly. Like okay, so if it's us, we're like that's fine. Like we're not like if we all end like we're not gonna be scared of our own death. But what about like as you said, other people? Like how do we psychologically prepare ourselves for our friend's death if the whole like yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. No, it was yesterday. Wednesday. But on the video it said that in order to be to not like be angry, we have to be less hopeful. And by being less hopeful, we have to psychologically prepare ourselves for the worst. But if we do that, then it's gonna feel like we are wasting like our life worrying, contemplating something.
Like if one of your friends is dying and you know it?
Yeah, I guess pretty much. Like how do you psychologically prepare yourself?
And if you know this person's gonna die in the near future,
I
like
guess
just
so.
in general, like
Just in general, like how would like
so you want to psychologically prepare yourself for someone to die at one point in their life?
I feel
Well, I mean, everyone's gonna die.
Yeah, but so you're saying you want to psychologically prepare yourself for that?
Like how would that work with the suggestion that if we're gonna be happy, we have to be less hopeful? I mean, like if you don't want to be angry, we have to be less hopeful.
I feel like how he talked about living in the present and just spending time with that friend and making memories that you'll enjoy later on and you'll look back on. I guess that in a way you're gonna help yourself know that once you're gone, you gave them the best that you could, like when they were alive. So I guess that in a way you're kind of helping yourself understand that.
Again, on the shortness of life, when we were talking about it, what you're saying, the present, like my philosophy was like I agreed with these guys when they said, don't engross yourself in the future again. Like I said earlier, like if you're thinking about someone's gonna die, but you don't know if they're necessarily gonna die, they're obviously gonna die. You don't know when. The fact that you're preparing yourself for is like, I feel like you're already like losing the present. You're already like getting yourself sad over it. Like I'm gonna die. Everyone's gonna die. But like we're not dead right now. My philosophy on that.
I think the comfort in not knowing that when you're gonna die is like something I guess we kind of take for granted. Like in the one where she's talking about like when she got diagnosed with like the one thing, and it's like she got treated when she got sick or she got ill, she got treated like a whole new type of person. Like she wasn't even the same just because she knew she's been granted like to the vision of the future. Like I don't know, I think that's really interesting because it's so true. Like whenever we see somebody who's gonna die, like oh, like how long do you have left to live? You know, like since you're given that possibility, it kind of puts you in a different state. So I think that since we don't know, it just gives us, I mean, not exactly comfort, but more of like idealism, like an optimism. Like you never know, like they say you can go on for however long you're supposed to. I just think it's interesting.
Ignorance is a bliss, huh?
That's really
Have you guys heard of the saying, the whole like everything happens for a reason? Do you guys agree with that? And then would you guys agree with what we were talking about in section that like to believe in the rational laws of nature, to leave it all up to nature? Like does nature always like what the Stoics believe? That the law of nature is like what we should follow.
I hate that.
So it's like if everything happens for a reason, does that mean we should just follow the laws of nature?
You have no free will. Like you're just so constrained. Everything's like predestined. You know, you can like cross a road without looking. You'll either die or.
I mean, I don't think you necessarily have to follow the laws of nature, but there's a certain point where you're like lining yourself up not to follow the laws of nature. So you're like lining yourself up with ideas that are unachievable by the laws of nature. I don't think you're necessarily restricted to like stick to it, but if you did that, it would be shitty. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. It's like to know like what you can and can't control is really important because like just in this like stoic perspective, because if you know that like okay, I can make these choices because like they will actually work out in the world that I'm living in because I'm a part of nature and I'm in nature, but like there are some things that you just can't control. Like an earthquake could happen at any second, and like this whole building could just like collapse, and we have no control over that. And it could, I mean, it's just like you can't get like so torn up about those things because like that's not living in accordance with nature. It's like having your expectations too high. It's like nature fucked this up for me. Like how dare nature do this? And it's like nature doesn't care about like, what people like you are doing with your life. Nature doesn't care that we're like making this video for class.
I think going back to like the everything happens for a reason. I feel like, well, I don't really agree with the Stoics. I mean, yeah, I guess because like nature, I guess nature, whatever controls everything. But it's like I think of it more as like an individual. We have the choice to do whatever we do. Like you choose your own path, and that's how it, and then that's how it happens. And whichever path that you chose is what was supposed to happen. So it's not like a predestined thing for you to choose, but it was like when like you chose it, like it didn't happen any other way because it's supposed to happen like that because you chose that. Like you know what I'm saying? Like because you think of what if and stuff like this. Well, what if it happened like this? it
No, it
didn't.
wasn't meant to be.
You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't, no matter what. Like unless you, that's how it should be.
Yeah, like what happens is what happened. Just thinking about like what if and like does that like what if happens this? Like what are the different ways that my life could have gone? It's like this is the way it just went.
Yeah, like it went that way.
It went that
Yeah,
way.
it's like you can't do anything. Like there's no going back. And it's like so obviously it was meant to happen that way. I mean, well, personally, I think it's meant to happen that way, but it's like, but I don't know if it takes away from your free will. Like if nature controls everything, does it really take away from your free will, or is it like, I don't know. Question. I got a question. I asked this question about philosophy class. So if I guess it was more Christianity, but I mean you could kind of take the Stoicism into consideration if nature controls everything. If let's say Zeus or God or whatever is omnipotent and does everything that you're about to do, how and like knows how you're gonna die, how everything's gonna go down, whatever you're gonna do, and has it all set, do you think that you do have free will if you do believe in those things? Or something were to believe those things.
I guess if you set that mindset aside that I'm in control of my own life, then again that would contradict the whole everything happens for a reason that I believe in. It's also confusing. I honestly don't even know. I think because I definitely do believe that I am in control of my own life. Like I could say that I want to drop this book and I will drop it, and I did that unless God planned that He knew that I was going to do that.
But it was a law of gravity.
But now I'm not going to do it. I don't know. See, I just can't see. It's also contradicting for me. I really don't. I half answered your question because now I just contradicted myself.
It's a duality of both. You think so? It has to be a duality.
I don't believe so, because if somebody's omnipotent and knows everything that you're gonna do, how could you have free will? Because it's not your will to do it, because you already had a plan. God has a plan for you, right? All right, well then.
I've also heard like the saying that God just guides you. Some people say that God is just there to guide you, like He's gonna set this for you there, and you're gonna decide what to do with it. He's gonna try to guide you through that set plan that He has, but He's not necessarily gonna like
Push you.
push
That's
you.
like too, but it's like I think in like scripture, it's like God knows all that was, all that is, and all that will be. You know, like how you go. What?
I mean, in the scriptures that he knows that, but like life is all about you making your own choices. So he's gonna give you the opportunity to make your own choice, and like if you're going by the Bible, the sin will be offered too, and it's up to you to like make the right choice because your life is all about your own choices. But like he knows what's gonna happen. He knows like according to the scripture, he knows what's gonna be, but you don't. You're making your own life choices. It's your life.
Okay, that's it.
You don't. You're making your life. I mean, you do if you make your own choice. You can.
I mean, you have the option of rejecting it too.
Yeah.
So that's like free will to the extreme.
If like God,
Because
we need like a talking stick. If God like controlled everyone's like, if you were like, oh, I don't have free will because God put this plan for me, then you would just do everything that God would want you to do, and it's like no one would make bad decisions because
Because God is controlling them supposedly. So why do people still make bad decisions?
because you don't know. That makes so much
Because
sense.
God wanted you to make it so later you can learn from it. But then sometimes people don't. Oh, I don't know.
It's because you want to be an individual, so you want to break the rules.
So I think my final answer I'm just gonna say is that that God just guides you to whatever. I don't know if it's much of the whole nature thing anymore. That I don't really want to say. Oh.
that's the
How
thing.
much time we got?
We got another 10 minutes.
What do you guys think about yesterday in the video he was talking about how Wednesday in the video he was talking about how prosperity leads to anger. Like why do people who have like the number one thing that claim to make them happiest, which is money, and why do they still get so angry?
Because when you fall, the fall is greater than someone's always been miserable. You know, if you like lose your stocks of like being like the 1% like richest people in the world, and you just lose everything. You're just gonna go to like the lowest of them all. And if you've always been poor, like you're
You're
used to
just
being
used
poor, like you're acquainted with it.
It's the higher expectations.
Yeah. But that's just money issues. So I don't know.
Because everyone has high expectations.
And you have higher ones. Like when like I was watching this one thing about like the I don't where all the billionaires live, Park Avenue. And like how if some dude doesn't open the door, if the doorman doesn't open the door perfectly on time for the dude to come out and get his limo, he gets fired.
Because they're expecting it.
And for what? Like, relax. It's not that serious. This is like it's really interesting to see that because it's true. Like it really does. I mean, some people like Steve Jobs didn't do that for his life, but most people do.
Yeah, I guess they believe that just because they have money, it just separates them from the rest of us. So they're like, we don't have to live the way too. Like if they don't have to have their door open for them. I need to have my door open for them because we are separated from them. We are not like them at all.
So I feel like generally, if people get more money, the more money they have, the higher expectations they can have. Just because they have that money in life. I mean, money doesn't make you happy. It's the same, but like life can be easier with a
It's
lot
like
of money.
power, yeah.
Yeah. So their expectations are a lot higher.
Didn't someone in this reading say that humans are higher on the hierarchy
The
than
animal hierarchy,
the animal
the natural hierarchy, like
Yeah.
we're better than all other animals.
Yeah, but then wouldn't that also work with the richer people have a higher hierarchy than the poor people?
In terms of money, yeah, but not in terms of like greater attitude.
Oh yeah, money-wise and power-wise, yeah. Society definitely can have more power. They're on the hierarchy.
But their ego's messed up.
Yeah.
Politics and
Yeah.
Yeah, politics.
People who are rich, their egos are bigger, so they can't tolerate like imperfection in their lives when it's like unavoidable, and that's why they get so angry when something goes wrong. It's because it's like, what? How? Everyone else is like, this is the way life is. You're like stupid. Calm down.
I thought that was a really good example that she it was in the video like where the server tripped and dropped all the glasses and it got thrown into the alligators.
Yeah.
Because the glasses didn't break in his existence.
It's so weird to think that people think the universe holds like reason, you know, like modern thought is like, oh, the world is actually chaotic, so you have to like do things like fix things like social contracts, like the individuals, and like that's why we have politics and institutions and government, you know, so it could be like a hands-on thing. But the ancients like thought that like everything was already like perfectly fine the way it was. It didn't click to me. I don't know.
It was because we try to control nature. Like we, like human, or at least human race, as it has developed into this primitive mindset, we try to control nature and be able to harness it or something like that. When it's, I guess the Stoics would say it's fine by itself. But then it kind of contradicts them because it's like, if it's natural for humans to try and do that, would that not be going in accordance with nature because nature is perfect in itself?
Like, what if it's natural for you to do it, then isn't that technically abiding by the laws of nature? If it's natural, then isn't it abiding by the laws of nature?
Yeah, see, that's like what I
Or what does natural mean?
Natural is nothing. Like everything's artificial.
That's another question.
Like the TA was saying, like agriculture is like modified, you know. Like, so like everything we like consume is modified.
Makes sense.
that's where I see like kind of a potential hole in like the argument. It's like, is it unnatural because it's like modified, or is that part of nature because we're part of nature and we did that and it happened? How can something that happened not be natural because it just happened? It's
The definition switches, or it shifts.
There's like a really quick sentence that confuses me, and it says, "Virtue is the craft of selecting things in accordance with nature." What do you mean virtue is a craft?
actually.
What do they mean by virtue, first of all, actually?
I think I remember reading this and like virtue for them would mean, I mean, the thing about this is that they don't have that much like evidence of what these people actually believed, so we're just trying to like piece together
Yeah.
like their arguments based on what we have. So they inferred that like virtue is living according to nature. And so therefore living according to nature is a craft in itself. So it's like you have to really work hard and pay attention to live in accordance to nature, I guess, is what that means.
I wrote here that I thought that what they meant was that following nature is like common sense for them. So it's like if you follow nature, it's like you're using your senses related to the universe. I don't know. It was really weird.
Yeah, I also have a question. It says like the body can only feel what is present at the moment, whereas the mind is also cognizant of the past and of the future. So like my question is like which holds the highest value? Like is it the mind because you're like aware of your past and future, or the body that's aware of the present?
I feel like, you know, when they compare physical pain versus mental pain, like the mental pain is always like more intense because you can remember it like each time. But then your body is like, if you get hurt like an hour later, you're just gonna be like, oh yeah, I remember it hurting, but I mean right now it's not.
Yeah, I think the brain has higher value when it comes to your personal power.
And also, the brain is where that's the only way you feel pain is because the brain says you process it.
Tells
Yeah,
you,
like,
your
that's the
computer
only
is what
way.
tells you what's going on.
Because you wouldn't, I mean, yeah, you wouldn't if you didn't have your nervous system working. I think we said you could break his arm without even feeling it.
So scary.
What the? Do you guys have any questions about this structure instead of the reading or the stoicism?
You know the actual way to say the like Kikero? It's like with this like you know the C like people say Cicero, but that's
It's not?
it's Kikero. Like it's a Greek word, so like the C is like you know.
Oh, it's just
Yeah, it's Kikero. I took a class on this
That's interesting. I'll remember
Greek
that.
stuff. So when people say Cicero, I'm just like it's Kikero, man.
It's Kikero.
It's with the C, like yeah.
It's so crazy.
Doesn't our teacher say Cicero?
Yeah, but it's Kikero.
Oh,
I don't know.
you should tell her.
It's fine.
What do you, okay, I'm kind of confused about, like, there's just this quote that I highlighted, the best order of the universe must be the best for each part of the whole. What do you think about that?
Okay, I don't get that at all. Actually, I don't get the whole part of the whole thing.
Yeah, like, is something, because we're part of nature, can we make,
Everything better?
I don't know, can we make, like, wrong decisions?
I might be wrong, but it has this analogy like if you have a clock, you know, if you split the parts of the clock, it's not going to function properly without all the necessary parts of it. So like, it's like the humans, you know, each human is meant to like hold a position maybe, so it can like the whole greater system can function. Watch, I don't know. It's really
To counter that,
Some people die.
what words, what things like that will work your health?
Oh yeah, because maybe.
Like what things actually do work for hearts? Is there anything that does work for hearts?
I mean, when you like buy a laptop, do you like just buy the keyboard, or do you buy like the whole?
You will
Wholeness.
contraption.
Right? I don't know. You know, like the.
No, everything. No, everything actually needs them. Everything has parts actually. If you think about it, like my smoothie, like it would be nowhere without the straw. Or this book, it would be nowhere without the spine. I know, but if we were looking at it as like a whole, like a smoothie,
You could
Yeah.
Staple it. Just kidding.
We don't have a stapler.
I guess.
What would the staples be without a stapler? Where would the
It would be useless, right? You need it. You need every component,
Well, I feel like as humans, how like there's people that work in the land, and then there's people that work like in buildings and stuff, taking care of like which parts of land to buy, so people go work in it. I guess it kind of works like that because you need everybody is helping each other in a way to like keep it going, but at the same time it's like destroying it.